Supplies arrived by plane and by mule in North Carolina as Helen's death toll tops 130. Widespread devastation left behind by Hurricane Helen came to light Monday across the South, revealing a wasteland of splintered houses, crushed cargo containers, and mud covered highways in one of the worst storms in U.S. history. The death toll topped 130. A crisis was unfolding in western North Carolina where residents stranded by washed out roads and by lack of power and cellular service lined up for fresh water and a chance to message loved ones days after the storm that they were all alive. At least 133 deaths in six southeastern states have been attributed to the storm that inflicted damage from Florida's Gulf Coast to the Appalachian Mountains in Virginia. So this is
And there's thousands missing still.
yeah, man. I mean, you should see the devastation from
I've
this
seen it.
storm, man.
I've seen it. Yeah.
I'm sure we've all kind of got to look at it. I saw some pictures, man, to where they had Wendy's they had a Wendy's that was like basically covered to the roof of the Wendy's. You could just barely see the Wendy's, sign, and houses were covered. All you could see is the top of the roof on the house. That just tell you how much water. And it's crazy because we're in where was that in Asheville, North Carolina? They said there's 2,100 feet. It was either there or Tennessee. I believe they're 2,100 feet above sea level, and it's still flooded out like it did.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah, I
You know
saw
what
that.
I
I
mean?
saw the picture that was kind of stunning to me. It showed the people and it showed like the road and it came down a little bit and the people were just standing there and they're just looking at where their town used to be. There's like a whole town that got wiped out.
It's gone. I
Actually,
mean,
it's
I know
gone.
Asheville. I
Yeah.
think Asheville, North Carolina, and I think there's a place over in Tennessee. I mean, that's pretty deep inland. I mean, Tennessee doesn't touch. I don't believe that Tennessee touches at all the ocean. So I mean, they're probably the rivers and everything else are just over flooded with just the sheer amount of rain and water that just pushed into them. It's just crazy right now to see something like this happen, and it's a lot of people to die, especially in America. You don't really see that happening in America. We have even with hurricanes, you don't really see that happening. We had a huge one when Katrina hit, and then you had Sandy, I believe, that hit over in New York as well, but up in that area. But you don't really see it as much. So it's the amount of devastation that we saw right there, which is it's just sickening almost.
And that's what the first, I think that's, no, they had the hurricane season started earlier this year. And
Yeah,
that one went around Florida, hit Tallahassee and went straight up and just did destruction all the way through.
Category 4, man. It was a Category 4. You know, I mean,
and it got stronger. It got stronger as it got close. Usually it kind of like, when it gets closer to the land, it kind of like dies down. It's supposed to die down a little bit usually. It got stronger.
They said it was, but they said it was like kind of pumped up by like unusually warm water in the Gulf of Mexico. They said the water was just has been unusually warm for this time of year, and I think they said everyone's saying it's global warming because they just had something over.
It is global warming.
Yeah.
Hey, you can go ahead and ignore it. I bet those people there aren't. They're like, nah, this ain't never happened before. I'm a believer.
I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
And either you're gonna count it as a fluke, or you're gonna look at it and say, this is this. If you never had this happen before to you, why do you think that is? Why do you think there's just this much water 2,100 feet above sea level?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're flooding out like you got oceans of water 2,100 feet above sea level. All your houses are being pushed away. You know what I mean? It's crazy to me. I've never seen anything like that either. I mean, you expect that I think they just had something go on down in Houston. You know, like we had a couple storms down in Houston. I mean, you expect to see stuff like that in places like that, maybe New Orleans. But you don't expect to see that in North Carolina. They don't really get hit with a lot of hurricanes over there. You don't expect to see that in Tennessee, all the way as far inland as Tennessee. It's not like Tennessee super far.
Yeah,
inland,
Nashville. Nashville. It hit Nashville, hit the edge of Atlanta. Yeah, and it hits, what is that, Kentucky? That storm came in deep. That was a big storm, and it came in deep.
Yeah, it shut down a lot of stuff. They were shutting down a lot of just Atlanta. I mean, and Georgia itself, because they knew they were going to get remnants from it, but they didn't expect it to move like you said, like it did, and how it kind of bounced off and it just pushed a wave of destruction all the way up the coast. And now you got the longshoremen going on strike, and you're going to need stuff at this point in time. This is bad. All these things are kind of happening at bad times. No, there's no good time for something like this to happen, but this is a extraordinarily bad time to let your longshoremen go on strike. I'm hoping that this like kind of pushes them to kind of get a deal done.
I mean, Boeing's on strike too.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah. So, I mean,
also,
yeah.
And also